Okay, so today we're going to be ranking every tome in Megabonk, and I just want to preface this video by saying this is my opinion. I do try to be as objective as possible with what is currently in the meta. I'm going to be comparing what is good for getting high kill runs, not necessarily what you enjoy or what is fun or what is best for beating the tier 3 boss. This is going to be purely for what is the best for getting the most amount of kills possible and getting the best run possible. So that's how we're going to be ranking it, starting with the Agility Tome. Agility Tome is fun, but it's not necessarily super strong. It can be good on Calcium, who does scale with movement speed, does more damage the more movement speed he has. And just because of that, I am going to put it in C tier. If Calcium didn't have that passive, I don't think it would be as good. I think it would move down to D tier. Again, it is fun. Early game, it is nice having move speed, but shrines drop enough move speed. You really don't need Agility Tome. Next, we have, I believe this is Armor Tome. Armor Tome, I feel like has some potential. There are some cool builds you can run with it. Armor does reduce the amount of damage you take, and if you get a lot of armor, you can basically take no damage. The only issue with this is building these builds, you end up falling off late game. Even if you can survive very long, you're not going to get as many kills. So because of that, Armor Tome is a little bit better than Agility Tome, just because it is a lot more forgiving. It can carry you through a game, and you can build thorns and stuff like lifesteal with it, which is pretty good. So I'm going to put it in B tier. Next is Attraction Tome. I'm not going to lie, D tier. You don't need pickup range, and if you do want pickup range, you can play Tony McZoom, who I believe scales pickup range. If you want that, you can just pick up pickup range from shrines again if you want it. Realistically, pickup range is one of the worst stats in the game. Therefore, wasting an entire tome slot on it just seems kind of throw, so I'm going to put it in D tier. Next, we have Lifesteal, and I'm also going to put this in B tier. Lifesteal, again, is one of those things that lets you survive a lot, and you can survive a very long time. You can last a good amount of time just getting thrown around by the final swarm ghosts. The thing is, you won't really be killing them. Again, you can combine this with armor and thorns, which is kind of cool and makes for some fun builds, but I just don't think this is really meta. You're not going to be getting insane runs with it. You can. It's just not ideal. I think there are definitely better tomes in the game, but it's not terrible. So I think B tier is pretty solid. Okay, this is the Chaos Tome. I don't actually have this unlocked because the achievement to get it just seems really tedious, and I don't want to do it, especially because I don't find it that good. It's basically Dice Head's passive. Every time you upgrade the tome, you get a random stat, which is just Dice Head's passive. It doesn't seem that good, to be honest. I would just run Dice Head and you get infinite upgrades on that, whereas a tome only gets 99. This is wasting a tome slot. I think it can be fun, maybe if you want to do like some gambling runs, but I don't think will ever be meta unless they buff it. I don't think it's as useless as Attraction Tome because it's at least helping you scale a little bit, so I'm going to put it bottom C tier. I think that's fair. This one I could very well be wrong on. I've never used it, so just keep that in mind. Next, we have one of the best tomes in the game, Attack Speed. Attack Speed is one of the best stats in the game. This is a common tome to see on very high level runs, leaderboard runs. A lot of the leaderboard runs run this. Attack Speed is just amazing. It is genuinely one of the best damage related stats in the game. Want to put it in S tier because I think it is so good, but the thing is, it isn't necessary. You can have good runs without an Attack Speed tome, and I think for that reason, it's going to be high A tier because there are tomes that are essentially necessary for a good run. So I'm not going to put it in S tier. I'm going to put it high A tier. Next, we have Curse Tome. This tome is really, really good. If you want to scale super hard and get a ton of kills, which is what makes a run good, this is a great tome to use. Again, I do not think it's necessary, but it is a very, very strong tome. Or that is going to go in A tier. A lot of high runs on the leaderboards also will run this. A tier is good. Next is the Damage Tome. Damage Tome is one of the strongest tomes in the game that isn't necessary, but I don't know if I want to put it in A tier or high B tier, because the thing is, I think Curse Tome and Attack Speed Tome are better than Damage Tome. So if I were to put it in A, I would put it down here. I feel like Damage Tome is still better than the two tomes here. I think low A is going to be where I put Damage Tome. I think that's fair. It scales really well, makes you do a ton of damage, obviously. As you get into the later parts of a run, Final Swarm Ghosts will just have so much health that you really can't kill them. So Damage Tome helps a lot with extending the time that you get where you can actually kill the ghosts. Duration Tome. Duration can be good for things like Flame Walker. It keeps your flame on the ground, so it stacks more. And I believe with stuff like Black Hole, it'll keep your black holes up, which I think can be good. But I also feel like most weapons that have duration benefits, like benefit from duration, build enough where you don't really need a whole tome for duration. So I think having a whole tome slot dedicated to duration might be a little bad. I'm going to put it low B tier because I think there are cases where duration could be really, really good. We just haven't really seen a lot of builds with it. Okay, Evasion Tome. Evasion is really only good on one character, and that is Ninja. Other than that, Evasion is kind of pointless. If you're getting hit that much where you need evasion, you're probably already in a situation where your run isn't that good, and I think having a whole tome on evasion is kind of bad. I do think it is better than move speed, just because I think Ninja is a little bit more viable in the meta than Calcium is. I don't think you can ever get 100% evasion. You can never dodge every single attack. Obviously, that would be broken. There is no cooldown on it. I just believe it caps out at a certain percentage where you're not going to dodge every single attack. I've run evasion before. I have had no luck with it. I'm going to put it high C tier for now. I think there are some cases where it could be really good. I just haven't experienced that. Next, we have Gold Tome. I think I'm going to put Gold Tome top of B tier because 1, Robinette scales really well with Gold Gain. 2, Gold Gain is super helpful. Again, I wouldn't ever run this unless I was running Robinette, but I do think Robinette is very good. So running Gold Gain with Robinette is pretty decent, and it's helpful for another reason. You have so much gold that you can open every chest on the map. This is a huge thing that people kind of sleep on. Items are generally what make or break a lot of runs. If you can get like 5 or 6 or 7 golden Joe's daggers, your run is going to be a lot better than a run that doesn't have any, right? The more money you can spend on chests, the higher odds you're going to have of getting more legendaries, which I think makes Gold Tome a little bit slept on. And again, on Robinette, it is amazing. So I'm going to put a high B tier because I genuinely do believe that there are going to be runs in the future that run Golden Tome a lot more often. Next, we have HP Tome. Max HP is kind of, in my opinion, a little bit of a bait stat. The only reason I could see you running HP Tome is if you want to build a really specific build with a bunch of beefy rings, which give you 20% damage for every 100 max health you have. And in my opinion, I just don't think that's that good. I would personally rather run something like armor. But if you're really going for like a huge lifesteal build, mixing this with armor and lifesteal could be really fun. For that reason, I'm also going to put this in B tier above duration because I don't think it's terrible. I do think for non-meta runs, it can be very good. And before my new high score, I actually had my high score with an HP Tome. Moving on is Knockback Tome. I hate Knockback. I think it is such a terrible, it's not terrible, but I hate running it because it feels terrible. I hate when I'm trying to go kill one of the XP skeletons and it just launches them across the map and I will never get that XP. I also just don't think Knockback is better than just doing enough damage to just not let enemies close to you. So I think Knockback is also kind of a bait tome. I think you can do some really fun builds with it, but they're not going to be necessarily meta or run defining. So for that reason, I think I'm going to put it C tier. I think all the ones in B tier are better than Knockback. I don't think Knockback is that good. I could see Knockback being a little bit better than Evasion or Move Speed or Chaos, maybe with specific runs. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with C tier. Next, we have the first necessary tome, S tier. Luck is absolutely necessary. It is probably the most important stat to upgrade in this game. It determines literally everything. How hard you scale, your legendaries you're going to be getting, the quality of your upgrades and your weapons. It is absolutely necessary for a good run because if you're spending the whole run only getting greens for weapons and greens for upgrades, you're gonna either not max out at all or you're gonna max out at level 40 with your weapons and just do no damage. It is absolutely the most important stat in the game. Getting late game, getting a ton of luck, and getting all your legendaries before you go to the final boss is a huge part of what makes current runs good right now. And for that reason, I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. You want luck every run. I do not see any runs that aren't running Luck Tome unless they're running the Fox. And sometimes I could see people not running Luck Tome. But other than that, every run I see has Luck Tome in it. And for that reason is absolutely S tier. Next, we have Crit. Crit is one of those ones that a lot of people would put up here. Okay, hold on. I think with Overcrit, actually, with certain builds, I think Crit could be A tier. I'm going to put Crit A tier because if I'm putting damage A tier, I think it just makes sense to have Crit A tier. It does let you overcrit. Once you get 100% crit damage, it becomes overcrit. Weapons like Katana or Revolver, I think that could be really good because they scale very well with crit. So I'm going to put Crit A tier, even though I personally don't run it and I haven't seen a lot of people running it in their runs. I do think we're going to see more crit. Next is Projectile Speed Tome. To be honest, I used to really like this tome, but I think attack speed is just better in every way. For certain things, I could see projectile speed being very viable. I was going to say I think with Black Hole, but I feel like Black Hole projectile speed might actually be bad. A tier would be way too high. I'm going to put B tier below Lifesteal because I feel like there's some cases where Lifesteal could be pretty freaking good. Next is probably some people's favorite tome, and I think it is pretty good, but I think it's a little overrated. Kind of falls off late game. I would much rather have attack speed or damage over projectile count. Projectile count is very strong early. If you're struggling early game, like your first 2 stages, run projectile count and you probably won't be struggling anymore. But late game, it falls off quite a bit because you want things that help your damage a bit more. Attack speed or, you know, damage or even crit. Putting it in A tier would be wrong. I don't want to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it top of B tier because I do think it is still very solid. Next, we have regen. I'm not going to lie. I don't see the point in ever running regen. I would just rather run lifesteal. Maybe for very specific builds with like book could be okay. Like there could be some fun builds you could run with it, but I just don't think it's that good. Next, we have shield tome. Shield is very, very good and very useful. But again, I think shield is one of those things because no matter how big your shield is, whether it's 5 HP or 400 HP, your shield will always take whatever amount of damage. So let's say you get hit with 1,000,000 damage. You can have a 5 shield and you're going to tank that entire. So shield is very, very good just to pick up from shrines. But I do not think running a tome for shield will ever really be that good. For that reason, I'm going to put it top of C tier because I do believe it is better than knockback, but I just don't see the point when you have shrines for shield. Next, we have silver tome. Pretty self-explanatory. It does not help you in your run at all. It is the worst tome in the game. Unless you really need silver, unless you're grinding silver, there's no reason to ever take this tome for a run. Next is size tome. Size tome is actually pretty slept on. It can be really good in runs. Like I know runs with black hole, it's very strong because black hole scales super hard late game, and when it's really big, it basically just makes it so you can never get hit by enemies until super late. You know what? No, I think A tier is actually very fair because it makes katana really strong, scales really well. Size tome makes some builds really, really broken. So for that reason, I am going to put it in A. This is kind of next. We have thorns. There are some thorns builds that are really good. Like I've said, I think with armor, lifesteal, you can do some cool stuff, but I think it's that just that one build can be viable. And I think it's more for fun than meta. I would not put this anywhere higher than C tier, maybe B tier again. Again, thorns is very reliant on other tomes. You need health, you need armor, you need shield, whatever it is, lifesteal. Thorns is reliant on other tomes, whereas the other tomes that thorns is reliant on aren't reliant on thorns. Like you can run armor without thorns, but you can't run thorns without armor. Kind of what I'm getting at. So I'm going to put it in C tier, even though it can be a part of some fun builds. Next, we have the only other S tier in the game that I believe is necessary to run in every run. Luck and XP are non-negotiables in my opinion, unless you're running something very specific. 90% of the time, the runs you see in the leaderboard will have luck and XP. I think there's some off builds that people will do that maybe won't have one or the other. I think maybe XP, there's some builds that don't have, like if you're running Spaceman. Most of the time, every run I've ever seen that gets in the leaderboards has luck, has XP. I think they're by far the most important ones to run. If you're not running them, this might be why your runs are struggling. Yes, early game, they don't feel as good, but this game is all about scaling. But yeah, this is my tier list. Pretty quick video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And if you have any rebuttals to any of my positioning, any of the tomes, if I put your favorite tome in D tier, if I put your least favorite tome in S tier, let me know why I'm wrong in the comments. And yeah, have a great day.